Hi guys. We survived the Civil War, and that's saying a lot, because about 25% of Southern men did not. The Civil War had an amazing human toll on America, and Sherman made sure that the American landscape suffered too. So, how did we build it back up to be this lovely suburban landscape that we have today? That's what we'll discuss in this video series. So in this first video, we're going to talk about the beginning of Reconstruction and identify the different plans for reconstructing the South. This covers Chapter 8 in your orange book. We're talking about Goal 3, and the objectives we'll cover in this presentation are Objective 4, analyze the impact and end of Reconstruction, and Objective 5, evaluate how Reconstruction tested the national government. The essential questions we'll answer are: what were the differences between Lincoln's plan for Reconstruction and Johnson's plan for Reconstruction? And what were the immediate effects of Reconstruction? So what are the issues around Reconstruction? What are people in the government discussing and debating? First of all, Reconstruction defined is the process of readmitting the 11 southern states that had seceded back into the United States or the Union. They also had to rebuild the economy of those states and protect the rights of the former slaves that lived there. So the first issue is, what will be the requirements for readmission? What will the states need to do in order to rejoin the Union? Some of the questions around this are the Confederate leaders in these states traitors? Are they to be trusted? Or have they betrayed the United States? Also, will Reconstruction be a quick process, or is it going to take a long time? The third part of this is, should we make the population of the states swear an oath of loyalty to the United States? The second issue is, how will the Southern economy be rebuilt? Remember that half the livestock are gone. A lot of that was due to Sherman's march. A quarter of the white men had been killed in the war, 25%. That's huge. 4 million freed African Americans lived in the South now with no homes or jobs. They were no longer working the plantations. They were no longer given a place to live or places to work. Also, who should control the land? The North had promised African Americans 40 acres and a mule. Was that still going to happen? Also, is it constitutional to take land away from the people who already owned it? And the third issue is, what rights will African Americans have now? The slaves had been freed, but African Americans still had no rights as citizens. They were in this kind of limbo where they're no longer owned, but they also don't have the same right as white people. And there's the issue of white Northerners versus white Southerners. White Northerners feel that, for the most part, that African Americans should be given the same rights as white people. Also, the white people felt that that was not a good idea. Why might Southern white people not want to give African Americans their full citizenship at this time? Think about that for a second. Lincoln wanted to go easy on the South. He wanted to be lenient. Okay, his plan was considered moderate. Okay, it wasn't extreme. It was a moderate plan, and it was called the 10% plan. In the 10% plan, each state needed 10% of its voters to swear loyalty to the Union before it could form an official state government. Also, if a state had abolished slavery and had given education to African Americans, it could now be represented in Congress. Lincoln's plan was considered quite generous to the Southerners. He granted pardons to Confederate officials, so he did not want to charge them for treason. He did not provide immediate equality for African Americans. He also wanted Reconstruction to be done with malice towards none. Malice meaning hate or anger. He wanted Reconstruction not to be vengeful. Okay, it wasn't a process of getting back at the Southerners. Remember, his ultimate goal was to bring the Southern states back into the Union and get the United States put back together again. The picture on the right is a tradition that George Bush started, giving a presidential pardon to a turkey every Thanksgiving. And in this case, when a president gives a pardon, it means that the person will, or in this case the turkey, will go free with no consequences. Okay, so in the next presentation, we'll talk about people who opposed Lincoln's plan.